What's going on, world? It's your boy Gemini Brown here, back with another episode of 𝐦𝐨 Knowledge. Today, we'll be talking about things you shouldn't do while Saturn is in Pisces. So, let's get into it. But before I get all the way into it, I want you guys to do me a quick favor. If you've been following my channel for 3 to 5 years or even longer, I would like you to drop a comment below. Shit, even let me know what was the first video, that reeled you in, if you remember. And I'm starting off the video this way because I want to express some gratitude. And y'all got to know that I'm a mystic. And I have a very special connection with spirit. So just like a pastor who gives a sermon, my messages, everything that I say is a part of the whole message. I'm really addressing this because certain people, now that I've been elongating my message and becoming more, making an attempt to become more connected with the audience, some of you are like, hey man, this doesn't have anything to do with astrology. And honestly, like in the most respectful way, I don't give a fuck. I'm here for those who can appreciate my mind, those who have an attention span that enables them to decode messages, that allows their own intuition to take what is heard and process and internalize for their own journey. Not necessarily those who are just seeking logical advice or explanations towards everyday, day-to-day things. It serves its purpose, but like I said, it's coming from a deeper place. Now, going back to my core audience, I'm really addressing you guys, and because I took a little trip down memory lane, man. Took a little trip down memory lane, just seeing how far I've come and all of that, and just knowing the proof is in the pudding. Those of you who've been there, y'all literally messed with your boy because he was authentic. You know what I'm saying? Because you caught what I was kicking, right? Now, that core, I'm gonna need y'all. As we go forward, I'm gonna need y'all a little bit more because we're all going through a transition. And I just want to say this to y'all, that this time period, these last few months, and really we can extend this all the way back to the start of Saturn in Aquarius. This has been a very, very significant time. Okay? It's not necessarily like let's say like the 1970s, right? Energetically, those were different alignments that were giving different manifestations. At this particular time, being on the borderline of ages and all of that, things are changing rapidly. So the advice here that I'm giving, and like I said, I hope y'all always know, particularly in this sense, what my messages are collective. So I'm letting y'all know, and whatever your niche is, whatever you do, there's gonna be a whole new influx of creators, because the time period that is passed has allowed for those original seeds. So look at myself, Gemini Brown, and others who were on YouTube all the way back then as seed planters. And naturally, you grow. But this is the truth of the matter. The truth of the matter is that most people, they don't do well with change. They don't do well with change. It really is difficult for them. So I know this. Many people will somewhat turn on their favorite creators. And some of this can be because, certain views get revealed. It's like, oh, I didn't know you thought like that. I don't like you like that anymore. But in another sense, this is the truth, and this applies to life. When anyone decides to elevate themselves, go to that next level or plateau, life gives you pushback, particularly with those around you. They don't immediately support it. It's like, oh, you're changing. Oh, you acting different. Oh, you in it for this. But really, y'all, people are just evolving. So like I said, many of us didn't have this knowledge when Pluto shifted from Sag into Cat, right? But within to have the knowledge is to be able to forecast, to look ahead and be like, okay, how can I maneuver to be in alignment with this energy? So everyone within their own time, like I said, if you're here and you're really you're listening to all these astrology videos about, Pluto and Aquarius or Saturn and Pisces, I pray that you begin to apply it away from a personality sense and more in a constructive sense. Okay, what's the highest manifestation of this energy for me in this time period, right? Saturn in someone's 7th house, that's way more than just relationships. It can mean a sacrifice in relationship, in personal relationships, leads to more overall success, right? So one sacrifice is one side of the house to have another side of it open up. So I say all that to say this. Aquarius deals with community, right? The highest elevation of community. Like-minded individuals who share within the same values. The North Node, having been in Taurus all this time, has really been guiding us to get a crystal clear picture of what it is that we value, what our values are, how we want to live our lives, the type of people that we want to be around. So, as I just said, there's going to be a natural tendency, the shadowy side with all these changes will come about. But I just encourage you to find the vibration of gratitude and stay there. One of the things from this side that, kept or keeps me going, or like when I was first, evolving on YouTube was the gratitude from people. When people would say, thank you for sharing your knowledge. Thank you for making these videos. I actually was just like, well, I just wanted to talk my shit. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't looking for nothing. I just wanted to share. But that's the appreciation. And I stay within that. You know what I'm saying? So have good discernment about what creators you decide to support. And the next part of this message is that, yes, if you are an aspiring content creator, which could be within any realm, there are many different pockets. If you are an aspiring creator, this Saturn transit will seek to dissolve a lot of things. Part of it will dissolve like your ego expectations, as well as your lower qualities that hold you back. So the ego will be tested, and this is going to be a time period. It's not for the faint of heart. So it's very simple. Just don't give up. Just don't give up. And any other content creator will tell you, it take time. It takes time and persistence. You got and a lot of different ebbs and flows. But you gotta know what you're trying to get out of this thing. And like I said, find a way to stay within the spirit of gratitude. And then lastly, dialing back to value. I'm really just letting this be known that for you guys out there, someone's pricing of their services, and this is for anybody in whatever realm, a person, how they price their thing, part of it shows their own personal value. You know what I'm saying? How they feel about what they put in. And then typically, I'm letting you know, someone who's actually invested real time and money or resources within something is not going to be doing things for cheap. And I need y'all to understand that we just went through Pluto and Capricorn. So the energy is going to shift, but material tendencies, particularly within this realm of online and stuff, have been. So try not to let that stop you from finding your community, but more so really just look at it as having a realistic understanding of how things need to operate and run, and exchange of energy and all of that. That's my advice to you. All right, so let's get into the Saturn. The first thing that you don't want to do while Saturn is in Pisces is have yourself become a continuous victim of projections or be projecting yourself too much. Pisces in the 12th house very much so deals with mirrors and things that unconsciously become reflected, to us through things in the environment or others. So wherever Saturn is transiting within your chart, there's likely to be an energy here being projected that you should embody more, or making you aware of something you weren't about yourself that can, be an improvement or allow for a greater flow. What comes to mind here is, like, let's say Saturn in the 8th. Let's say Saturn is going to transit your 8th. This really can induce a period in which our intimate life, right, as well as like our ability to just have fulfilling, deeper connections with others, feels limited. Now, let's say, so the Saturn is going to be coming off of a 7th house transit, right? So there was a whole 2.5-year period of changes occurring within that area. So let's say it's occurring for someone in their early 20s, right? Say it's their early 20s, Saturn goes into their 8th, and let's say you're getting out of college, but you, the person with the position, haven't necessarily found a career, but all your other friends have. So you're reaching out to them to do particular things you may have been doing while Saturn was during your 7th house, but that's now restricted because they're putting energies in a different place. Now, the reflection part or projection part is that they could be projecting to you the need for you to put your energies in that same direction. Okay, so you want to gauge what is being projected, how to receive it. And this is what I believe. I believe that, like, one of the advantages of knowing astrology is consciousness, conscious awareness of scenarios. If we're looking at the horoscope for the day, you understand the temperament of how everyone is feeling. Okay, so that enables you, if it says in the horoscope, hey, projections are high today, and you receive the projection, your consciousness of that should allow you to deal with it a little bit easier, or understand it a little bit more, okay, as opposed to being unconscious to it and be like, and just reacting. So I feel like this energy is gonna be very, very prevalent during this transit. I give another house example. Let's go Saturn in the 11th. Saturn the 11th in Pisces, and we want to keep in mind all other things going on in different charts. What could be reflected here? What could be reflected here is feeling small, or reflected that you're not the only one pursuing a particular dream, an 11th house endeavor. So let's say you're kind of here in the 11th is aspecting maybe a natal Mars in Pisces or Cancer or something. This can ignite via projections certain insecurities in regards to that house. And then, as I always tell people, Saturn is fear. And fear is weird because it could cripple you, but it could also help you get certain shit done. Okay, the fear of something propelling you towards greater action. So within all these areas, via projection, certain themes can be realized and understood. All right. Next thing that you don't want to do while Saturn is in Pisces is trying to convert people to your spiritual beliefs, particularly astrology, And this is something that I see a lot, man, a lot on like social media, and it's understandable. You know, we get this knowledge, we want to put it out there, but I'm telling you, particularly with astrology, this is not something that I think most people are should be like persuaded into believing or discovering. It can be suggested, but I really think at the end of the day, astrology requires a deep level of self-study, and then astrologers help give more context towards the art or the theory and all of that. But one has to be able to make the personal connections for themselves. They have to internalize the role of the moon in their life. They have to be connected towards that. So what's going to happen here is like this is a naturally square Sagittarius, naturally square Gemini, and then Aries, North Node is going to be within Aries. So we can overall be feeling very passionate about connecting with others or spreading our own particular messages. But I'm letting you know, wait for the invitation, as they say in human design, and just lead by example and make sure you are reaping the actual benefits of what you're trying to teach another. The next thing I wanted to say with this is like, stay away from these kind of people. The people who they get it, like they start to believe in astrology, but if a person's mind works like this, hey, if astrology is this, that, and the third, why aren't all astrologers rich? And why aren't people who follow astrology rich? Stay away from those people. Don't waste any time, energy. Ugh. All right? Just run away. And like I said, be grateful that you're here in this moment and can utilize the knowledge for yourself. All right? Next thing you really don't want to do while Saturn is here in Pisces is be involved in any type of fraudulent activities. And I'm going to give extra emphasis for y'all here. If Saturn is transiting your second house, your 8th house, your 10th house, those for sure. And other factors, you know, other places play out too, but those houses for sure. You really don't want to be trying to scam or do some things that you know you shouldn't. This brings me to the next point that I want to make in general. So, we know Pluto's going to dip into Aquarius. The rise of artificial intelligence, y'all. This is nothing to be scared of, but it's something to acknowledge, like I said, how the world is changing. And for a person like me, I have to keep in mind, everyone doesn't think like me. So if I'm like, I don't want to use artificial intelligence because I could do it my damn self. There's a whole host of people who aren't as talented or confident within themselves that will jump at that and ultimately seek to manipulate it a bit. So we, you know, in every era, there's a layer of disillusionment or fake activity. We just went through the boom of fake news and you know, kind of seeing the shadowy side of media. I'm letting y'all know there will be lots of attempts at like digital scamming and things like that. The hope is that things find the correct order via those having the needed integrity to see them through. But scamming is not what you want to do. It just ain't gonna end well. You know what I'm saying? And the way I kind of see it is that a lot of it will be unnecessary because there's so many other ways to generate whatever it is. Like whatever you're trying to scam or get over on, chances are there's an outlet for you to actually manifest that thing via putting in the work. So this is my advice, y'all. Just a little bit about this. Feel free to chime in. Like I said, tap in, comment, let me know what you think, how you feel. If you need a reading, check out my website, GeminiBrown.com. Check out my book, Astrology of the Matrix. Till next time, peace.